and they put that on air, and they basically will say words, and there's this one guy named Adrian who's like, you know, what does it mean? And they're just, their English is so broken, and it's almost, they have to put subtitles because most of the time you don't understand what they're saying. So you see, like, it's a running joke. It's just a constant running joke, and it's so sad because I don't know if they understand that they're being made fun of in spite of all of the, you know, their hard work of trying to find just a bit of justice and a bit of equality. That there's a joke, there's like this sort of inside joke laughing at them because they have to have subtitles, and there's a lot of things they don't understand or know, and then there's that whole music situation in the background that makes it comical, like when someone doesn't know something, like for instance, they were trying to say the word banjos, and the one guy asked if there were going to be some banjovis, and they thought that was hilarious, and everybody, and I'm just like, oh, come on, fellas, like you're doing a great thing by trying to get yourself out there and get some equality and some justice, but you're pulling yourself down because of the fact that you can't even, you know, project what it is that you want to say and do, because people are laughing at you, you know, it's like here, they're all gonna laugh at you, and it's kind of heartbreaking in that sense too, because you just want to pull them in and say, okay, you guys, you're going to need a little bit more education. You're going to have to get your words. You're going to have to get your diction. You're going to have to get your grammar. You're going to have to get that tight. You know, there's some basic, some standard, just vocabulary that is missing, and I feel so bad for them. Like, and you know, that's not something you can tell somebody. That's not something you can talk to someone about. You can't, you know, go in and just be like, you guys are great, however, you know, your vocabulary stinks and you sound completely ignorant when you speak. And, you know, honestly, I think a bit of education would pull them out of this hole that I think they're finding themselves in, because they would be able to write up contracts. They would be able to, you know, speak to people in charge who would be able to pull because they have a booking agent, and she seems really cool. She seems sweet and understanding, and you can just tell she's partially like, oh my God, what have I got myself into? And she has to be the voice, but she can only be the voice over the phone because she's not going to travel with them. They need a road manager. They need someone, because currently I guess they have this captain who is, number one, too chubby for his unitard, and two, who really doesn't understand business. Like, I think he understands the basics of business, but it's not just booking and gigs. And anybody who's ever performed or has something that they do, you know, that they work for themselves or whatever artistically, it's not just booking the gig, it's the follow-up, it's the follow-through, it's you know, so much more. It's the schmoozing, it's the socializing, it's all of that, you know. They have a really small thumbprint when it comes to, you know, online presence. It's like they have a show or whatever, but it's not just that. I mean, it's almost like you watch the show and you just feel sorry. And for me, I feel sorry for them, but I know there's tons of people who laugh at them and think it's hilarious just based on what they say, not what they're doing. And it's just kind of sad. But I also have this sense of triumph when I watch it, because I'm like, well, watching them overcome so much hate, you know, and I'm just like, you guys get it. And I wish they were better. Like, I watch them and wish they were better. I wish they were better with their English, their vocabulary words, with their enunciation, with their understanding. I wish they were better with their dancing. I wish they were better with their management. I wish they were better with their money. I wish they weren't completely just imbeciles when it comes to being on this show, because this show could do so much better. But you know what? I know the people behind it they get the inside joke. Like, they know that they're a joke, and they love it. They're not gonna tap them on the shoulder and say, you know what, you guys need to fix your vocabulary. You need to fix these things, because it's the reason why it's a vehicle at all. It's to laugh at them, and they don't understand that. Because, and so many reality shows miss the mark. I think so many miss the mark when it comes to, do they not understand that they're diminishing their brand, they're tarnishing their brand, they're not shining it up, they're not making it look better. A few people have got a chance to do that. You know, you look at Omarosa, she built a brand, an entire brand, on being a backstabbing liar. And, you know, she can talk about she has Trump's money all day long, but she's known as a backstabbing liar. You know, we're not even going to get into Nene's situation because she's the worst. But all of these people build brands based on being complete imbeciles, just like buffoons. And you just go, why would you want the world to know that about you? Why do you think that is so clever that people believe this about you, whether it's true or not? And so many people miss the mark when it comes to reality television shows. And this one in particular, I don't think they'll ever look back and say, and the only way they'll be able to look back and say how embarrassing is if they decide to get an education higher than it probably appears to be about 5th or 6th grade. Like, I can imagine the one captain maybe graduating from high school, and that's it, and not any further. And I would say maybe 1 or 2 have graduated from high school, but I would say the others probably have a 5th, 6th, 7th grade education, and it's gone no further than that. And I think they're set in Mobile, Alabama, so the strong drawl doesn't help. But there's just so much, they're lacking in so much just standard, basic, just standards. And and again, heart goes out to them for so many reasons, you know, because I think if they could only communicate, and if they could only project what they really wanted into the right words, I think they could be so much further along. And to me, it's sometimes when I just want to pull people out of the ghetto. I just want to pull them, and it's not necessarily pulling you out of the ghetto, out of the hood, in your physical space, but your mental space, you know, your social space, you know, just come out of the hood, you know, just understand that, you know, people of color are being judged all day long, stereotypically, and if you could just pull yourself out of that area, I think you would get so much further. But you know, check them out. If you don't know about them, check out the Prancing Elites. You know, just their story is beautiful, and I would say that it's packaged wrong, but if you can get past all of the beautiful the way they shoot it and its reality, like, they've got a great story. It's just I would say it's packaged wrong, and that's my own personal opinion, you know. But I was also, you know, because I'm really pushing myself out of reality TV. I'm a little over it, and like I've said before, I'm over the Housewives, blah blah blah. But I just happened to catch Rich Kids of Beverly Hills, and I'm really into this E.J. Johnson. And I'll tell you why. The reason why I'm really into E.J. Johnson is because when I grew up, I was always thinking, like, I didn't know who Andre Tallon was, but I always knew he was something in fashion, and something really, he just felt regal to me. He felt like somebody that was really important, and I always gravitated towards his look and his ideas and his opinion. And when he was on the Tyra Banks's what is that, America's Next Top Model, I lost all respect and just kind of was like, he's so common and disgusting. But I do believe that E.J. Johnson could replace him. I think he could be the next Andre Tallon, because he does get fashion. Now, he may not always represent it in what he wears, but I think he has a great eye for fashion. And so I was watching him, and I don't like him as a personality. I find him to be a little pretentious and kind of disgusting, but that's fine. Like, your dad is a multi-millionaire, and of course, how else would you grow up? Like, what would I expect? But I do like his sense of style, and I do respect his drive, because I would think if you grew up privileged, and that's really growing up privileged, because you grew up with, I mean, if anybody has an empire, it is definitely Magic Johnson. Like, he has theaters, he has all these investments, Starbucks, he's got all this stuff, and, he owns it. He does go into partnerships, but that's how you become, a billionaire, when you get into partnerships with people. But he grew up not understanding what it's like to be poor whatsoever. So he has no concept of what it's like to be poor, unlike his dad. His dad grew up poor, but, he has no idea what that means. So he comes off very privileged, and that is what it is. But I think in fashion, especially, next to Anna Wintour, who grew up privileged as well, it works because they only understand high fashion and high-end designers. They don't understand, Cherokee brands at Target and, Massimo, that it's gone downhill or whatever. They don't understand that, They get it that poor people would wear it, but they would never wear it themselves. And I think if you're going to be involved with fashion, it does need to come pretty much from a one-sided view, because of the fact that, you'll never have to worry about or think about economy when it comes to styles. You'll never have to do it, and it's always forced, on a high-end level. Like, fashion always comes from the top and goes down. Like, it starts at the very, very top, and then everyone else at that point is a knockoff. They start the styles, they start the fashions, and then everyone jumps on board and says, oh, so this is the thing, so we can make it cheaper, we can make it, affordable. And I don't think that he will ever understand fashion from a poor person's point of view, and I kind of hate to say it, but I think, like, in a way, he would be the perfect person to replace Andre Talion's opinion about fashion and work with the houses like Chanel and all that. Like, I see him being like a driving force in where fashion is headed, in 2020, let's just say, like, because it's not that far off. And, I could see him being the dictator of what fashion is supposed to be and what it's, what it's about and where it's been. And I like him for that. And I kind of hope that someone is, rearing him and getting him ready for fashion and where it's supposed to be and where it's supposed to go. Because I do like that about what EJ brings. Now, the reason why he really intrigues me is because, recently he got the gastric bypass. And I was asking myself, like, I have such an issue with gastric bypass because to me, it's like, as a person who has dieted pretty much for 2 decades now, the purpose that dieting is so hard is because it's a mentality. It is a discipline. And, it's not a discipline everyone has. It's a discipline that you either have or you gain or you fail altogether. And gastric bypass doesn't teach you discipline. It teaches you nothing. It literally teaches you, okay, I can afford it. I'm in a decent enough health to possibly, surpass all the heavy and burdensome risk that are involved, whether it be heart, digestion, because not everybody comes out of those gastric bypass surgeries unscathed. Like, some of the people have some serious problems after it because it causes so many issues, because it cuts off the calories, it cuts out certain things that your body will absorb or whatever your intestines will absorb, and only it restricts you to a certain amount of calories or something like that. So, but I was looking at him recently and I was like, wow, he's lost a lot of weight and he looks really good. And I have to say that I teeter with my feelings about people who do that. Like, especially someone so young. It's like currently I'm trying to reclaim my health, and And now on weekends, I fast. Like, I don't eat on Saturdays and Sundays. I simply drink tea. I detox. So whatever I eat during the week, I cleanse my